little pig. I just sounded like the big bad wolf.
Let's meet at the library. Okay.
Hi everyone, it's Julia and welcome to my channel, Shakespeare and Such. Today, I kind of have a doozy of a video. I don't know why I'm being coy. There's definitely already a title that has let you know exactly what this video is, so stop. There has been like a trend in the beauty community that moved into the booktube community where it's like my so-and-so chooses my TBR. And so, you know, people do like their husband, their boyfriend. They started getting a little fun. I saw one that was like, my dog chooses my TBR, which is hilarious. I am single. I have no husband, no boyfriend, no pet animal companion. What I do have are 19 preschoolers that I see every day, or every week. Not everyone comes every day. So I decided it would be so fun to let them pick the books that I read. But I had this whole conundrum of how do I get preschoolers to select books? Like, do I do it by cover? Do I do it by title? And eventually I settled on that was all too complicated. So I made a list of 30 of the most intimidating, most anticipated, most interesting to me books that I would love to read in the near future. And I selected, like I said, 30 titles, wrote them down in a random order, and then I wrote down the numbers 1 through 30, and I let every preschooler just pick a number, whatever number they liked. And yeah, the corresponding number is the book that they chose. So this resulted in a whole lot of big, intimidating books for one TBR. And obviously 19 books is a little too ambitious for a month TBR. So my initial thought was, oh, I'll make this like my whole summer TBR, and that way by the end of the school year I'll have read one book from each of my preschoolers, which will be cute because some will be back next year, some will be in kindergarten. But yeah, after seeing their selections, or my selections that they happen to pick, that can't happen. There's literally War and Peace on this TBR. Like, it's just not going to happen. So if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably heard a lot of this already because I've been talking about this so much on my Instagram stories. But essentially what I've landed on here is I'm going to make it my read by the end of the year TBR. So that way I allow for reading galleys. I allow time for new releases and the buddy reads that I have planned and things that I just want to do. And there's some leeway for, you know, like readathons. Obviously some of these might fit into readathons, but like no one's going to read War and Peace for a week-long readathon. So this will just be kind of a loosey-goosey, make sure you're picking these up, but like don't stress out kind of TBR. So I'm really excited. I'm going to show you the 19 books they picked for like confidentiality reasons. I don't want to use their names. So I think I'm just going to refer to kids by their letter links. So if you're not familiar with letter links, which why would you be unless you're like a preschool teacher maybe? Basically in preschool, this is really common. Everyone has like a name and like a small picture. That way, before they can read and write their own name, they know what to look for to know that something is theirs. So like, for example, my letter link is Miss Julia Jelly Beans. So if there's a picture with jelly beans on it, that's my picture that I drew. Or, you know, that's my chair that I sit on. So every child has their own letter link, and I'll be talking about their letter links instead of their names. So let's dive into those 19 books. Oh my god, you guys, this is the first stack. Okay. So first up we have the very adorable and very sweet Rose, who selected War and Peace, which I'm really excited about because this actually is like the only book amongst all of these that I said like I'm going to read it in 2018. It's happening. This edition is beautiful. This is, what is this, the Penguin Classics? Yes. And it's cloth bound and has the comets across, which is gorgeous. But you know, this book's also 1,300 odd pages. It's very large. The font is very small. It's like reading a Bible or a dictionary. So I'm intimidated, but really excited. I love Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812, which is a musical based on just one small part of this novel. So when I get into that section, I know I'm going to be like a huge nerd, but I'm hoping to love this. I think this is going to be the first like classic Russian lit I've ever read. So I'm excited. My little jellyfishes pick is I, Eliza Hamilton by Susan Holloway Scott. Oh, I didn't say War and Peace is by Leo Tolstoy, if you didn't know. This book is a historical fiction about Eliza Hamilton. It's like 435 pages. So again, so many of these books are not short. But of course, this is another one that I'm a nerd about musicals, so I want to read books about the things that musicals are about. I do have the actual Hamilton biography that Lin-Manuel Miranda read, but fiction's fun, and if it's centered around Eliza, it's probably even better because Eliza's an angel. So yes, and this is number 2. Kat picked The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. Yes, I know. I still haven't read this. It's shocking even to me. Again, why are all these books so large? Like this is just a YA contemporary, and it's like 400 and almost 50 pages. But I'm sure it's going to be amazing, and I'll probably cry, and I can't wait. Honestly, it's overdue that I read this, so it's finally gonna happen. Oh boy, Mr. Grapes chose A Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin. This is the second book in the Game of Thrones series. I have actually read the first one, and only the first one, even though I own the first 4 because I got them in a box set. And yeah, it's been a long time coming. I've given up on the TV series kind of officially because I'm still mad about Shireen, and I'm going to continue to be mad about that choice. So, but I know the books go in a very different direction than the show in general, so hopefully I like this more. Again, we've got like a 1,000-page book here, so that's cool. Finally, a tiny book. My sassy little friend Wheel chose Crossing Ebenezer Creek by Tonya Bolden. This, look how tiny, yes. This is this YA or middle grade? Sounds pretty big. This is a maybe middle grade, maybe YA historical fiction about, I believe, runaway slaves. And after watching the TV show Underground, I think I actually had pre-ordered this because I'm like, I need it. P.S. If you haven't watched Underground, that show is amazing. Pretty sure it's all on Hulu. Yeah, so again, I can't wait for emotions. But then, of course, Worm, the counterpart, same name as my other boy, but, you know, different letter links, chose another honker. Got Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. Mantel? Why do I have so many giant books? Why did I think this was okay? This is over 600 pages. But look at those margins. That actually helps. It's less intimidating. I got this at a library sale, which is awesome. And I have seen the miniseries, so at least I know what I'm getting into. And like, I just have a lot of vague general knowledge about the Tudors and Boleyns and all that. So I'm looking forward to all these. I'm just scared of how giant they are. Oh, my sweet little buddy Acorn picked A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This book I'm so excited about because, first of all, again, why haven't I read this yet? But I won this book because when Book Axe first got started, there was like, I forget, like the first however many people to like do this many things, like put this many books on your bookshelf and review this many books. Like a free book personally selected by the team at BookX based on your preferences. And so I did that, and I was one of the people who won, and they thought I would enjoy A Monster Calls. So I've been really excited. Also, this cover I think is like the UK cover, and it's gorgeous. I love this cover. And I'm still confused about whether this is YA or not. I may never know. I know it's about like a younger boy. Anyways, I'm so excited. And it's another short one, God bless. And then we have my pick from Little Apple, the boy who prays for me every night and also has told his family that I'm his best friend and that he's going to marry me one day. He's so cute. He picked another chunker, of course, but of course he picked one that is like very up my alley. I have Walt Disney, The Triumph of the American Imagination by Neil Gabler. Gabler? I don't know. It's huge. Again, let's find out. I think 600 some pages. It's a lot heavier than the rest of those books for some reason. So this is a biography about Walt Disney, and it'll take a while to get through. Oh, it won the Los Angeles Times Book Prize for biography. So that's a thing. Obviously, Walt Disney was not a perfect person, not by a long shot, but he still has a very interesting past, and of course I'm very interested in his company. So we'll see what I learned from this. I know a lot of Disney stuff, so it'd be really cool to like learn some stuff that I had no idea about. Okay, that's the first stack. I got more books. These ones are moderately not as giant. Okay, so the pick of my creative, singing all the time Little Miss Egg picked The Heart of Betrayal by Mary E. Pearson. God, it's been a long day. This is the second book in the Remnant Chronicles. This is the second book, right? Yeah. This is the second book. That would have been awkward if it was the third. I read the first book in like January of 2016, and I really loved it. Never continued, even though I own the other two books in the series. So I'm excited to finally get to move on with this trilogy, and I also want to say that I'm very impressed by this cover because the girl on the cover has dark hair this time, which means it's actually our main character. Because the first book had a blonde girl on it, and our main character isn't blonde. So I just found that odd. That's all. Okay, my sweet Cloud picked The Broken Girls by Simone St. James. Sorry I said sweet like 10 times, but he's honestly the sweetest. Just brief anecdote, sorry, I'm going to ignore the book. This kid is so sweet that he once accidentally drank someone else's juice box during lunch, and the other kid was confused at first, but then not even mad at him. Like, he was like, it's okay, I have more at home. And he was just so sad that he started crying because he felt so bad about drinking someone else's juice box. He's got a heart of gold. Anyways, The Broken Girls by Simone St. James was one of my Book of the Month picks, and I really like Simone St. James. She writes really great historical, paranormal, like ghost type stories. I've read 2 of her other books, and this is the first one that I will be reading that has like, I think, a split perspective between like the 1960s, 50s, and modern day. So that's also kind of different because a lot of her other books are kind of like in the 20s, 30s. So I'm excited about this one. Then my little Hellion, Mr. Train, picked Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. I don't know why I sound so excited about this book. Actually, I do know why. I told myself I was going to read the Grisha trilogy, which I guess isn't called that anymore, besides the point, before I read Six of Crows, even though I know everyone prefers Six of Crows. But I said I was going to read these first because I know there are like really minor things that I think get spoiled, and I hate spoilers. So I obtained this first book. I once tried to read this probably over 5 years ago, and I didn't get very far. It was like from the library, and I think I read one chapter and I was like, meh. When it was due, I just didn't renew it. But I'm going to give it a go. And again, not too terribly long, and it's YA, so it should go faster, theoretically, right? That's kind of big font. And Miss Piggy, Pig, picked Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Yes, that's right. My favorite book is a Jane Eyre retelling, and I've never read Jane Eyre. I'll see myself out. Yeah, this is Jane Eyre. It's the story of an orphan who becomes governess, who just has crazy gothic adventures and romance. I can't wait. I've seen the movie, so I know everything that happens. Check out that color scheme back there, though. Those blues and grays. My friend Miss Window picked Blood and Sand by C.V. Week? I'm not sure. This is, I guess, Spartacus? Yeah. This is a reimagining of if Spartacus was a young woman. And I'm sure at this point you're thinking to yourself, wait, Julia, isn't one of your favorite books a YA historical fiction where Vlad the Impaler is reimagined as a girl? To which I'm going to say, exactly why I bought this book. So, I'm excited. Blood and Sand. Yes, yes, yes. Fish picked A Million Junes by Emily Henry. Another one of my Book of the Month picks that I haven't gotten around to. Most of my Book of the Month picks, let's be real. I don't know that much about this book. I know it's actually, I think, a low-key retelling of Romeo and Juliet. I'm pretty certain. I do remember that Anna from the Baked Book read this, and I think really enjoyed it. Like, I'm pretty sure she loved it. So, I have high hopes. Watermelon picked The Alice Network by Kate Quinn. This is, as you might figure out, another historical fiction, and I'm pretty sure it's about spies. Oh my god, it's that French flaps to die for. Yes. Oh. So it is in the aftermath of World War II and also a year into World War I. So we have spies, two different perspectives during war-ish time. And again, it's a little bit long. I mean, for a historical fiction, it's like 500 pages. It's kind of chunky, but I think this is another one that I pre-ordered. Or did I get it off Book Depository? I don't remember, but when I heard about this, I was like, I need it. And I love this cover. My sweet little angel, Miss Drum. She picked The Tempest by William Shakespeare, so of course, a child who just is so simpatico with me picks my favorite author, right? Story checks out. This is one of Shakespeare's plays that I've never read. It's, of course, in the Folgers edition because those are the ones I love to scribble in and annotate and all that good stuff. And it's not long. It's, yeah, shy of 200 pages, not including all the nonsense in here that's like the preface and the this and the that. So, yay! I know Jocelyn from Yo Give the Book has recommended this to me. And she's not a big Shakespeare person. I mean, she likes Shakespeare, but of the ones she read, she was like, yeah, The Tempest. So, on a related note, my wonderful, brilliant guy, Mr. Xylophone, picked Women of Will by Tina Packer. If you've been following my channel for an absurd amount of time for some reason, because it used to be very lackluster, let's be real. Still is? I don't know. You'll recognize this book because I once said I was going to read it for Nonfiction November. Spoiler alert. I didn't. But this is a book that is, I mean, it says following the feminine in Shakespeare's plays. It's all about the women in Shakespeare's plays. And if that's not a book that was written for my very soul, I don't know what is. I can't wait. 2 more books. Okay. Awww picked A Secret Sisterhood. This was in a recent haul of mine. The Literary Friendships of Jane Austen, Charlotte Bronte, George Eliot, and Virginia Woolf. It's nonfiction, and it's about exactly what I just said. And it's not super long. For a nonfiction, this is like hardly over 200 pages, so I'm shooting a lot of thumbs up in this video. I'm just like, yes. Yes. And finally, Slide picked The Witches of New York by Amy McKay. This is historical fiction. Duh. And it's about, literal witches in 1880 New York City. So I'm into that. I think it's like a tea shop, but also they're witches. And it's actually a lot longer than it looks, because this is like that thin paper. It's over 500 pages, believe it or not. So kind of long, again, for historical fiction, but I'm excited. I'm excited about all these dang books. I'm making it sound like I'm scared, and I am scared, but literally, I can't wait to read all these. Alright, I've been filming for nearly half an hour, so I need to stop before this video gets unnecessarily long. Thank you for sitting through that list of 19 books that I plan on reading by the end of the year. I will be working full-time this summer as a nanny, so obviously I don't have to sit and make lesson plans and prepare a lot of materials, but I will still be tutoring the 2 kiddos that I tutor and also nannying. So, still kind of busy, but I'm going to make time for books. Duh. Otherwise, I'm going to be super cranky. And I just realized that few to none of the books on this list have audiobooks, so that should be interesting. Or rather, I have audiobooks for. I'm sure plenty of them do have audiobooks that exist. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to check the links down below. Add me on Goodreads and Instagram and Bookx and Twitter. That's the other one. So if you've read any of these books, I'd love to know what you thought. Or if you think I'm going to love or hate any of these books, I would love to hear your predictions on what my thoughts will be. Yes. Anyways, you will be seeing more of me soon. Bye!